And we're about to get underway in Bahrain. We are go and a jump start for a couple of drivers. I think Danny was one of them. Light Cruiser was one of them as well. Danny got a fantastic start, but that's because I think he jumped it.
Light Cruiser doesn't have a penalty, I think. Or...
No, Light Cruiser does have a penalty. I saw it flash up as we're 3 wide into turn 1. Danny, Julian and Copy, all of them together as Julian manages to force his way past and into the lead of the race. Copy with Jensen just behind, not quite leaving enough space on the outside. Jensen is alongside though into turn 3 as they head up there 3 wide. Yep, no, we saw it. It might well have been a warning.
There's driver shuffling in the background, I think.
Blessed has gone. What happened to Blessed? He is not hashtag Blessed today. Unfortunately, we have a safety car.
The safety car's out.
We have a safety car. So I wonder if anyone is going to pit. It looks like everyone is. Not everyone is. Copy did not.
No, Wow.
Oh, Wow did not. Sorry. So yeah, Julian, Copy, and Jensen did.
I don't think anyone actually knows. So, and we'll find out. And that's pretty cool.
Yep,
so.
we certainly will. Lots of people on lots of different tires.
JJ and Julian have already traded positions. That doesn't sound legal to me.
I think Julian will have to lift, and he does before the line.
Did. And that will give Copy the edge on him potentially. This is probably for. Well, no, it's not for provisional race. They both overshot, and then Julian goes into Astra, boys! And that's Astra. I think Astra lost the front wing, and Jensen goes through, and he's taken 4 positions. Jensen's into P4. Incredible scenes. Julian's off track. He's down into P7. What a restart that was. Astra will be P'd after that. I think he's lost. Yeah, he's lost an end.
The front 3 are all out of DRS range of each other. Wow, Toto, and Ocean. But Jensen now making his way through. He's got Pretorius right behind him though, and Pretorius is on the soft, so he's going to have to defend from him.
Beautiful move by Jensen on Ocean. She even made that look very easy, and nonetheless.
I don't know. I was going to have to defend here into the last corner. This is...
that was quite the move, and Jensen does it for the show, I think. He tries to break him. Oh wow, yeah, wow. Left him a lot of space, and they're running side by side. This would be an exciting photo finish if there wasn't this penalty, and that's going to play out.
DRS not quite enough for him.
Yeah, that was actually very close in the end.
Yeah,
but,
so Jensen does win. Wow. Finishes 3 seconds behind with the 3-second penalty. They cross the line side by side. That was last week. This is this week. And we have Speedy on a lap of China, which is going to be today's race. You can hear probably, actually you can't because I've not turned the volume up yet. You can hear now the pips in the background that at the start of the session. This is the start of Speedy's qualifying lap though, or his time trial lap rather. Around turn 1, very, very long turn 1 here at Shanghai. A late apex, you take that apex as late as you can. Then a long, long turn 2, you got to get traction on the exit. Short shift a little bit to get as much traction as you can before the run down to turns 3 and then turn 4, which is this right-hander. You brake as late as you can at the 100-meter mark, run a little bit wide on the exit. Don't use the curb though because there's no traction there. And then you're flat as a pancake through this left-hander on the softs at least. Maybe on the mediums and the hards you're not quite so flat. But then into this right-hander, a long right-hander. You've got to keep yourself over to the right-hand side though, because you got to take this double apex left-hander as smoothly as you can. You run yourself out to the right-hand side and you slow down as quickly as you can. Is that rain I hear in the background? It might well be. We might have a wet qualifying session today in China. In any case, on this long, long snail corner, the right-hander onto the back straight. It's flat for as much of it as you possibly can, and then as much straight line speed as you can muster for this long, long straight before a big, big braking zone into a very tight hairpin. Brake at about 120 meters for the hairpin. Clip as much off the apex as you can and get the traction down as smoothly as you can on the exit. Bring yourself over to the right hand side and chop as much as you dare off this left-hander. Very easy to get warnings in the last corner. Crossing the line, that was a 29.7 from Speedy. Very fast. He'll be looking to maybe emulate that. 69th on the leaderboard. Nice. Indeed we do have rain. That is what we have in Shanghai, because We have a full wet quali and dry race, according to Wimpy. Thank you for the forecast, Wimpy. And yeah, we have a completely dry race, but a completely wet qualifying session. I'm Terra, as usual, and alongside me eventually will be, as Toto has apparently spun in turn 1. He is already, his computer is back.
Yeah,
It
just
has...
having a little issue, because my computer died on me, and now for some reason it locked me out of Steam, so I had to revive my cell phone that's buried somewhere with the Steam guard thingy, because otherwise I can't log in. Just...
Well, fingers crossed. Toto's got lag by the looks of things, so maybe let's not follow Toto. Hopefully he gets that one sorted out. But yeah, Timo's here as well. And we got Bants on an outlap too. Full wet qualifying, so this is going to be an interesting one. And of course, free tyre choice in the race, that means. So we'll see how this goes. We've got 16 minutes for the drivers to sort themselves out here. Audio is low for Thimo. Okay, it shouldn't be that low. I know why it's low. I know why it's low.
That's because I'm standing somewhere.
It's because you're standing. Okay. Actually, should we move into the... We're still in the 2SRL Discord, aren't we? Should we move into the... Yeah, well, let's do that. All right. So into the commentators booth we go. That's good. Apologies for the black screen, folks. So hopefully Thimo is a little bit more voluminous now, as we see people get on their outlaps. We got Speedy, who I think will be... I don't know whether... I guess he will be glad that it's a wet qualifying session. It equalizes everything. It means that he doesn't have to do anything tricksy with the tyre strategy. He can just go medium hard, as is the strategy around here.
Yeah, it changes up quite a bit because, as you saw in Tier 2, basically everyone did mediums, but there was the occasional driver who went for softs, and I mean it's a nice way to get yourself up the order in qualifying a little bit, maybe sacrifice a bit of the strategy to get yourself into P6 or something when you would have normally qualified P20. So like for the slow runners, it's an option to go for softs and get themselves further up the field than their pace would probably make them get. But I mean, this is off the table now, as everyone will be on intermediates, and all intermediates are equal. So
yeah, I think so too.
We'll see.
And yeah, people in chat saying that Timo's still a little bit low, so I've turned myself down just a little bit more. So hopefully that is okay.
So that should be fine. I need an invite. I have one.
Okay, that's good. So welcome along, everyone. We're going to follow Speedy on his first qualifying lap. He did the hot lap video. It's a little bit different when you are in the wet, though, so just so difficult to get the traction down. So look at the throttle indicator on the bottom right. Yeah, he's half throttle for most of the acceleration zone there out of that long left-hander. No traction control, of course, in SLR Tier 1. You can see him to be so careful as he heads into
I'm in the game as well now, so I can see what's going on.
Fantastic.
Just some background to those who don't remember. Last season, this race was the debut of Jensen, and he had a very good one. He almost won that one out of nothing, like we didn't know who he was or anything. And he came out, he drove an alternative counter strategy to everyone else. And he almost beat Copy. I think Copy passed him on the second to last lap, or last lap even.
Yeah,
and,
I think it was the last lap.
Yeah, he almost won that one on the counter strategy, and he kind of showed that this is one of his very good tracks. He had a good fight with Speedy there as well. So I have talked to Jensen. He, I think he can't attend the next races, so he wants to leave a mark at least here, and he practiced a good bit. He and Copy were pretty equal in qualifying, and he confidently said, like not in an arrogant way, but like in full confidence, he doesn't think that that anyone will be able to get Copy and him, so that it is going to be between them. Therefore saying that he doesn't think Julian or Speedy will be up there, but maybe now the wet qualifying changes things. He's a little bit down on Speedy. He's second and just behind Julian. Speedy did a good lap there.
Yep, it was a very good lap from Speedy by the looks of it. He's put himself firmly at the top of the leaderboards with that. 1 minute 47.8. So we'll see if anyone is able to approach that. Pretorius is P2 on a 48.1. He's rebranded himself to Prix for this race. I don't quite know why, but in any case, he's still Pretorius. Danny puts a good lap in as well. 49.2 from Danny. So Jensen only 4th in the first run at least, but there's plenty of time to go just yet.
Copy is on a lap. I don't know if it's a quick one though. I don't even know if it's a flying lap, but his ERS isn't high, so maybe that's just a traction thing.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah,
a traction thing.
it is a hot lap for sure as he goes through the last corner nice and carefully. And we'll see if
This
he's
is
able
going to put him 3rd on the
Nice.
leaderboard.
Yep, good lap.
Just behind Pretorius, who looks stronger than I expected. Good
Yeah.
in P2.
Pretorius did a very good lap there as Icewind outbreaks himself for the left-right, coming onto the back straight. So Icewind is going to have to probably wait for another lap if he wants to challenge the top of the leaderboard this time.
An interesting challenge will also has also arisen for Hueni and Tota with this, because I mean they are basically relatively new to using no lines. I mean Tota, it's been like some weeks, I think like 10 or something. It was towards the end of last season that he dropped the line, and Hueni has just recently dropped the line, which we don't mention often enough for sure. And the problem is in the rain, all the braking points get all different, and if you're basically used to the line doing everything for you, any change in what you are supposed to be doing that you have to figure out on your own can give you some headaches. So maybe Hueni and Tota will struggle a little more in the rain than they would have in the dries. We're going to see. But Hueni also told me that he really is aiming high for today. He wants to get close to the podium positions again, which is quite ambitious considering the grid we have.
Yeah, certainly is. You have to be really fast to get anywhere near a podium in SLR these days. There's a lot of fast boys up near the front. As Costa crosses the line, he did a 49.7. So we might have, hearing some from Tipsy Bob in chat, we might have some intermediate weather by the end of the session. The rain is apparently easing, and Popo has decided that he's going to put the inters on now. I don't know if he's going to go out now or if he's going to wait a little bit before he does. Copy, by the way, on his second flying lap, put a very good lap in, and he is right up with Speedy now in the 47. So it's those two at the front of the field with 10 minutes to go.
That's very interesting to see. Also, Speedy is on a flyer, and according to the second time, I don't know if it's reliable, but he is 4/10 up, although he got very close on the hairpin there. Maybe cut it, I don't know. He doesn't come into the pit, so I assume he didn't, and he goes across. Well, he's about to get across the line, and it is a 47.2, and he's absolutely setting the pace. And yeah, giving those who didn't think he would be a factor on his new pad. I don't know if he's using his new pad actually, but like in case he is using his new pad, he's giving those a wake-up call who thought he was out of this. He's been struggling a fair bit over the last few races. I don't quite know how it went in SLR. I just know that it went horrible for him in 2SRL, and this is probably just what he needed now for his approach, like the mental game, sort of.
Yep, absolutely right. We got Max Splits, or Max Spilts rather, out on intermediates.
Yeah.
Don't know about that at the moment. Yeah, it's not easy. It feels like it should be Splits, but no, his name is Spilts, as he lets somebody through. That was a Williams.
Luigi. Has he actually driven in
Pretorius with a very good lap, 47.4 from Pretorius, so he's up to P2.
Wow, I mean he's kind of a surprise. He's been at the top last season, like at the start he got his win in Baku, I think, and he was always thereabouts, but then he kind of dropped off, and like I didn't think he could go the pace of the big ones anymore, but looking at this, I think I was wrong.
Yep.
Because only 2/10 off provisional pole, and that's an absolute banger lap by Speedy, and he's well ahead of Season 2 champion Copy, and also well ahead of Julian. Jensen is kind of struggling. I guess he like got something wrong in his lap. I can't imagine him being 1.5 seconds off of Speedy.
Yeah, I would assume something. I mean, it might just be a confidence thing with the wet weather, and it might all be immaterial anyway, because more and more people are going out on the intermediate tires and I would suspect that that is going to be the right tyre to be on at the end of the session. So this might all be for nothing, all of this huffing and puffing with the wet weather tyres.
Yeah. My memory did not deceive me, by the way. This is indeed Luigi's debut race in Tier 1. Last season, of course, he was a very quick Tier 2 driver. And now he is in Tier 1 trying to prove himself. Without assists now, he dropped them through last season. And we'll see if he transitioned well, how he's going to get on. He's just started his first, or not his first, his second outlap. He's on wets. So, yeah, it's interesting. It looks to me as though he's struggling. I'll check the Sector 1 split. He's improving, so I don't think the track got significantly slower. He looks very slippy. Yeah, I think we're close to the transition point. Maybe those who are running inters already are a bit early, but I suspect towards the end of this session they will definitely become the objectively best tyre.
Yeah, we're going to check Popo to see exactly what his situation is. He's the first of the runners in the top 10 to start a lap on those intermediate tyres. Are they faster yet? We'll have to see. We'll look at the first sector split to see what that says. Oh, trying very hard to get the power down. He did eventually. And yep, he's half a second up. So I think we're probably there.
I broke himself there a little. He's off track. And that didn't help the lap time. It's still going to be a massive improvement. And, well, but that's down to the tyres, and I assume the others can respond to that. You get yellows, someone off.
Toto is retired. I wonder if it was Toto.
Potentially, I don't know.
Because, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he would retire on purpose here.
Yep.
Because there's no real reason.
Yep, I don't think it makes sense to do that. He's down in P16, so Toto's qualifying session is over, unfortunately, so he's going to be starting at or at least very near the back.
Jensen in chat, in Discord chat, saying the rears were on fire. So apparently he's struggling with tire temps in the wet. That sounds weird, but I mean you get a lot of wheel spin, so
yep, you do. You got to be gentle.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether he's able to do anything else. Popo, just wondering if Popo's mistimed this, whether he's got time to get back to the pits before. And do another lap. I think he probably does, but we'll see if he goes straight to the pits now. So he's not taking the chance. So who else do we have? We got Jensen, who's about to start his flying lap. We got NJJ, who's on a flying lap on intermediate tyres. Okay, it might just be a little too, and NJJ has not had a good first sector, so he's not going to be improving this lap. 3 seconds down on what he did before. Let's follow Jensen though, because this might be a lap that sets the pace here with the intermediate tyres. Pretorius is on a lap as well. I would think now that we're down to light rain conditions and that the intermediate tyres are the tyres to be on.
I wonder why Astro is not racing. I don't know if he said it in chat, but
yep, I don't know either. It is a bit sad.
Yeah, that's why Rennie's in the Mercedes as well.
Up there in the championship, of course, Astro Boys, I think, won the first race in Australia.
So, who is on a quick one then?
All of the top three are.
Half a second up. Well, almost half a second. It's more 4/10.
Jensen getting the double left-hander wrong. We'll see what his second split is. Yeah, he's 1.6 up on his lap time. Pretorius is... Where is Pretorius? Yep. He's a little bit behind him on track.
He's got more time to find. Pretorius 1.1 up.
Yeah.
So he'll still be ahead, I assume. And Speedy is about to cross the split as well.
Jensen with the opposite lock through the long right-hander. That was a little bit spooky.
And Speedy and Pretorius actually running very similar pace right now, because Speedy is only 9/10 up and Pretorius like 1.1, so they are very close right now, and maybe Pretorius can even dethrone Speedy. Speedy looked kind of shaky through the long right-hander there, but I mean he collected it, so it's fine.
Yep, Jensen coming across the line to complete his lap. He might get another one after this if he wants one. He crosses the line, does the fastest lap so far. a 46.4, but I think he's about to be beaten by
Next is
Pretorius. Yeah.
and he does by a second. Wow, and the next one is going to be Speedy. No, Copy. Copy coming across,
Copy.
and he sets the provisional pole just ahead of Pretorius, and now Speedy in the shootout gets his voice in as well, and he's barely behind Copy. So Copy on pole right now, on provisional pole, and then Speedy Pretorius Light Cruiser gets himself into the shootout as well. Good time by him ahead of Jensen. They did not see that coming, and
so there will be time for another lap for these guys. So I think that we are still going to see whether they do a cooldown lap and then another lap, or whether they just go straight into another hot lap.
I think that's it. What they're doing.
Costa, wow.
Costa, wow! I didn't.
Where did that come from? I guess the conditions are improving a lot.
Didn't he struggle early in this season? I think he and Max Phillips had a nightmare in the first race, and
they did.
Didn't look like it got any better, but well, Costa finished 12th last race, and now he's on provisional pole.
Also, Hueni up in P5. Ocean Chief's done a 47.8 on the wets, which is a very good lap on those tires.
Did he? For me, he's on.
Oh, is he on inters? Okay, that must be a bug then.
It's on inters.
Okay, so it's a bug showing wets for me, but Hueni is certainly on inters, and he's done a very good lap.
Yeah, and Hueni is up 4/10 in Sector 1. He's going at it. He's not doing a cooldown up, well, because he crossed the line too late, I guess. So he has to go again, and it looks like this is a quick one. 4/10 would get him into range of Pretorius, and I expect that his climb will go even further, maybe. I mean, I don't think it will happen, but there's the possibility that with the rapid track evolution we've got right now with the rain. Oh, Copy didn't do it.
Copy improves again. Yeah, no,
the improvement is so big. It's 8/10. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe if they wait too long, maybe the weather actually falls like too much into the dry and you get troubles in intermediates, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Has Jensen judged this properly? Julian goes fastest on the 44.3. Jensen, though, is very close to not making it. And he's got a car just behind him as well that wants to cross the line. It's one of the Alfa Romeos. They do make it just barely. Icewind.
Yeah, it is Icewind.
Yeah, going 8th on a 45.7. So Costa didn't get another lap in.
Jensen outside of the top 10 right now, and he is kind of a favorite. Last year he almost won that on the last season, but it looks like visibly Icewind is already closer to him. So maybe this is not going well for him. He will be kind of upset with the rain, with the weather gods.
Yep, Hueni in the 44s as well. 44.9 from him. Good lap right there, but it might just be about the people who have tried to game the system as much as possible and have crossed the line as late as possible to start their laps, and Jensen was certainly one of those, so we'll see what lap time he's able to do. Copy going down the back straight. He's going to be looking to improve. Julian on pole at the moment. He's not on a lap by the looks of things, so Julian has...
Yeah, but Copy's projected improvement will be quicker than, or its projected lap time will be quicker than what Julian is doing right now, and that looked like a very tidy hairpin to me. He'll come through the final corner and then across the line, and I think it will be quicker. Pretorius puts it out of Copy behind Julian, and Copy goes for provisional pole position. Julian is up a 10th, so he's trying again.
And Speedy is up 1.2. Speedy looks like he's going to put it in P2 at least. It might be good enough for pole. It's not quite good enough for pole.
Yeah, Speedy in P2.
And Julian does get it. Julian does get it.
Wow, I did not see that coming. And Jensen in the final turn. He's the last to strike out of the top. Guys, maybe Icewind, but Bants gets himself in P5. And Jensen, damage limitation P4. I did not see where Icewind went, but it looked like low top 10.
Oof. Jensen 4th. And yeah, Bants, I think, was 6th. And Icewind, I think, got it in P8. So, yeah, wow, what an end to the qualifying session. It ends up being not quite one-shot qualifying, but certainly only a couple of laps.
That's iRacing qualifying.
And Julian it is who ends up on pole once again in that Renault. So Julian with the lap when it mattered. Jensen did get himself up to 4th after a little bit of a difficult qualifying session for him in the wet, but certainly he's in the mix for the race. And obviously Copy and Speedy are big contenders as well.
generally, Jensen's race pace far superior to his quali pace, and I know he's very quick on this track. We've all seen it, so this is going to be very interesting. But Julian and Speedy will be in the mix, even though Jensen didn't think. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't think he ruled them out, but he thought he was confident that Copy and him were the quickest, and now it looks like they'll have to properly prove it. One thing, and that's just me being kind of confused. I thought we had this dry dynamic thingy where we had dry every second race, and I thought that this was supposed to be a dry race, which is why I was kind of confused.
I think that was just in tier 2. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I think in tier 1 it's always dynamic. I think that's the situation
sense.
with SLR.
Okay, well, I got told that because I was worried about rain in tier 2, so that's probably yeah. Well, I mean, you would be worried too.
Yeah, rain in China. It's always a threat. We've had plenty of wet races here in the past.
Yeah, it's like I think they confused China and Malaysia. It doesn't rain too often in China, does it? Well, I mean,
southern China, southern China is like tropical, so yeah, it does. I'm afraid. So.
Nice. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I think it's kind of southern.
Yep, it is. So, here we go then, the formation lap, as we see. And yeah, we mentioned about the 2 Ferraris, but that's a really good showing from both of them, Bants and Danny. Both together on track. 6th and 7th, ahead of Icewind, and ahead of a couple of other people that we would normally consider contenders, like Cruiser and Popo, who are very solidly usually in the top half of the field. And Bants and Danny putting in some very good laps.
Yeah, it's really going to be an interesting start as well. I wonder if Copy will contest Julian early on. I mean, I think it's a fairly short run into turn 1, but the P1 is on the outside, and maybe you can get alongside here. It's just hard because you get alongside in like the snail section, and then the next one is a sharp left-hander, so the one on the outside for turn 1 will obviously have the inside line, so that's mostly what kills early overtakes there. If people get alongside, maybe Copy will be able to get ahead quickly if he gets a good launch. So I wonder how this is going to play out. Also, I mean, it's the snail corner, and if not for the top guys, maybe there's going to be some carnage. It's just a hard turn because it tightens up so much, and then suddenly space is open, people go for space, the space is closed again, and it's very weird, and you might get hit up the rear or something and spun. So it happens. We've had a fair bit of carnage in tier 2. Tier 3 was actually surprisingly restrained. But I wouldn't rule this possibility out here. And this field is
I think so.
Strong throughout, so like
very strong
if there's
field.
carnage, like if you look at Popo and P11 or Light Cruiser and P12, they could get up the order if there's some carnage, and they would be able to hold themselves.
Absolutely. I think anyone at the back will be looking at the front and saying, like any issues, then I'll be well placed to take advantage of them. In terms of tyres, by the way, we've got everyone on mediums except for Tipsy and NJJ, who have gone for the hard tyres. I think everyone is going to be one-stopping in this race.
Yeah, it's very reasonable. The softs do really melt here. It's the theory that they didn't properly do the tyre transition, so these softs have the like kind of an ultra soft.
Absolutely right. So Shanghai round 3 of SLR tier 1. We have 5 lights, and it is go. And a pretty good start by the looks of it from Copy. Is he drawing alongside Julian? It's going to be close into turn 1. Julian does have the space to cut across. Speedy got a very good one as well. Going to try and go around the outside of Copy as they go through turn 1. He's hung out a little bit to dry by Julian, who is on the outside of the track. But Julian it is who makes a clean start. Copy at the moment, second, Speedy third. But it's side by side as they head up towards turn 3 and turn 4. Jensen and Pretorius just behind as well, and then the 2 Ferraris, but it's still Speedy and Copy contesting second and third, and down the inside goes Bants and 3 wide as they go into the hairpin and the right-hander. Still side-by-side Copy and Speedy. They've been side-by-side for basically half a lap now. Speedy on the inside of the left-hander. That means Copy has the inside for the right-hander. Completely clean racing so far.
Popo and Icewind and Popo and Winnie come together a little bit. Cruiser looks like he can go through. That was a very clean start though. Even in the midfield, like I wrote on board in the midfield, and was very nice to see how respectful all these drivers were. And we still have everyone alive after this time in the race. So, and also great racing between Copy and Speedy. And now Popo, I've jinxed it. Popo's gone and he's retired.
Oh dear, didn't see what happened to Popo. We saw him as running wide as Jensen there in the long right-hander. So Popo unfortunately has gone. There's a bunch of cars coming onto the straight together towards the end. We have a safety car.
Oh, wow. And, I mean, that might be trouble for Popo because after he retired, I saw his car moving in the background. So I think he retired himself. He didn't lose a wheel. So he kind of caught the safety car upon the race. Maybe he's going to be in trouble for this. I don't know what happened to him though.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of contact out of the double left-hander.
Yeah.
And it looked like there was a little bit of lag involved as well. I think it was him and Quenny or somebody around there.
Yeah, those two were fighting.
Yeah.
So, and Ocean Chief goes into the pits, but it doesn't look like he has all his end plates. What's this all about? Like, there's no reason to pit for him if he doesn't.
Well, there's no reason not to pit either, because it's a safety car and he's at the back. So it's effectively a free pit stop. He might just be changing on to a fresh set of medium tyres or even a set of soft tyres if he wants to go onto the hards from there. And he decides to go onto the hards.
He goes onto the hards. Yeah, it's interesting. And if you excuse me, I'll use this to get my water because I didn't get to.
Yeah, a bit of a frenetic start to the stream today. But Ocean Chief on the hard tyres then. Nobody else going into the pit lane. Ocean Chief very sensibly getting himself a completely free pit stop to get onto some fresh tyres. But the situation now, lap 2 of 28. We're going to be going green, I think, at the end of lap 4. And the situation is that it's as you were as far as the grid is concerned. Julian, Copy, Speedy, Jensen and Pretorius are the top 5. With Bants, Costa, Danny, Icewind and Light Cruiser running out the top 10. But a very hard fought start to this Chinese Grand Prix.
I am back.
As we hear Thimo is back, so welcome back, Thimo.
Yeah, it's the calm after and before the storm, and yeah, Popo indeed rage quitted. It's
yeah, unfortunate. I guess he got damage.
Yeah, he said I rage quitted, got damage, did it without thinking. So yeah, it's unlucky, but at least it gives us a second chance at a start.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was exciting enough, but I had fun. We can do it again.
Well, safety car restarts are always interesting in F1 2019. We've seen that a few times before. We've seen some very interesting ones.
SRL
Italian,
Monza.
yeah, Italian Grand Prix last season. That was a fun one.
Unfortunately, it's not Jensen in the lead for this one.
So,
but I think actually I remember in what was it? Bahrain? No. Like, didn't Julian also give people a hard time? No, it was some idiot in Melbourne, I think. Yeah, it wasn't Julian. I thought Julian gave people a hard time on the safety car restart as well in Melbourne, but no, he didn't. That was wrong there. The question is, how is he going to do that? Because it's.
yeah.
I mean, I think safety car restarts are a pain to drive, but it's exciting if someone gets caught off guard, the guy behind them is ready to leap at him, and then maybe there will be something about this. Speedy looks very racy.
Yep.
They're copy to speed up my tires. They're cooling.
Yep, the tyre temps, keeping the tyre temps up is always a little bit of a challenge under the safety car. With everyone on mediums.
He's basically tandem driving with Copy here.
Yeah, he's obviously impatient to get going.
Yeah, that will. I mean, that will clearly do quicker. And the field is grouped up. I don't quite know how the safety car works. If it's like 3 laps every time, but I think it might come out in this lap. Actually, hope so.
Oh,
yeah.
it is in this lap. So it was only only what?
2 laps.
Yeah, 2 laps for the safety car.
Yeah, I believe that's because the field is bunched up.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it takes like more than 1 lap every time, and then after that, it's basically if the last guys have caught up, then it goes, and if they are not in perfect formation, then it doesn't. But it also It also goes if you're still 20 seconds behind him and just don't catch up. It also
Yep.
goes then. But I think that's the pattern behind it, and this seems to.
Interesting from Overspeed in chat, who says that Ocean Chief can go to the end.
I think so.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe 25 laps. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, 25 laps. What did Jensen do last time? I think it was 24.
Something like that,
Ocean
yeah.
Ocean Chief might well be a sleeper in this race. So
Yeah.
maybe we didn't see him coming, and then he, but he does come, and
Well,
maybe
we saw in Bahrain. I mean, he had a very, very good race in Bahrain. So, as Bants is caught a little bit sleeping, I think, in the safety car restart. Everyone else has bolted.
Costa and Costa and Danny already passed each other. That was not legal, I think.
As the leaders cross the line, yeah, Costa having to stay ahead of Danny. Julian's got himself a little bit of a gap by the looks of things. Copy doesn't have much of a gap from Speedy just behind as they head into turn 1. Very, very, very long, of course, turn 1 as Jensen and Pretorius a little way behind. Bants has got a second and a half between himself and Pretorius. He was, as I said, a little bit asleep at the safety car restart.
And Julian still leads the way, and he does so with us in a solid fashion. Like he looks strong so far. We only saw 2 laps of racing, but so far it looks like he's in full control of this. Copy is pushing as well. You can see that. I don't know if it was in the shot, but like he almost got onto the grass there, trying to extend as much as possible without going onto the grass. And you can see he's not taking it easy. He knows he has to get close now. He tries to do it quick, and Costa drops 2 positions here. I think he even tagged the rear of Icewind a little, who took his chance and got through.
Yep, fair enough. So Costa.
Oh, a lock up by Bants.
And Costa spins. I think he ran into the back, and hitting him is Hueni. Did Hueni get damage from that? Didn't see. Looks like he's got all of his front wing, but Costa has gone all the way to the back, unfortunately for him.
Icewind and Light Cruiser are fighting?
Yep, they certainly are. Icewind has, looks like he's got that move done for the time being. Light Cruiser with what little slipstream there is, though.
Yeah, Light Cruiser was ahead originally, but Icewind got him back. And now maybe tries to break him. He certainly broke later. Maybe a cutback. No, I don't think he gets it done here. Yeah, Icewind, but Icewind's running in ERS mode 5, and Light Cruiser was running in mode 1 there, so he didn't look like he was trying to get him there. But Copy, interesting development at the front, set the fastest lap. So he's quicker than Julian right now, and he is on his back. And as soon as DRS sets in and is a thing, which is I think going to be next lap, then Julian will have something to worry about, and it is a quick Williams. You don't say that very often, do you?
You certainly don't. But yeah, Copy is in one at the moment. And Speedy just behind, Jensen just behind, Pretorius just behind. The 5 of them seem to be dropping Bants. And also Danny, who's right with them.
Yeah. Pretorius just about hanging on. I don't think he's quite got the pace of the front. But maybe if you can sit it out until DRS is a thing and they start battling, he will be able to ride with them a little. And maybe if something goes wrong, or if he picks up pace, saves his tires more, he'll snatch up his chance. And Toto has spun and he's out.
Oh, yeah, he's out of the race.
He's retired from the race. Yeah, he is.
Without a front wing. Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine just by the looks of where he's parked, lost the traction out of the double left-hander. That's what I guess. And Danny Coe passes his Ferrari teammate.
Yep, certainly does.
Is faster than you.
So Bants yields that position to his teammate. And Danny can set off after the front 5. Bants seems like he's a little bit off pace from the very front, which is no disgrace at all in SLR these days.
Yeah. I mean, 2 seasons ago, he just went there and won races by not practicing too much, just out of the speed he's got. But he's gradually dropped down the order, and you can just see by that how much the field improves. And it's great to see, and it's a pleasure to commentate it as well.
Yep, absolutely right. Speedy right on the back of Copy here, but not close enough for a move into turn 4. Copy looked like he outbraked himself very slightly there, so he's under more pressure. But of course, Speedy will know that the important thing is to hang on to Julian's DRS, because if you can't do that, then you're essentially giving the race away to Julian, because if he has the pace, which it looks like he does, he's going to be able to sprint away.
I wonder how, like, I mean, this is just one of these race situations I love, and we unfortunately don't really get in real life anymore. Where you have like multiple cars at the front in a train, and I mean, something is going to unfold. It's not going. I doubt it's going to go in formation for the next 22 laps. Something is going to happen. One of these drivers will be victorious, and it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to find out who it's going to be. Right now, Julian looks like he is in control of things, but that might well change. Maybe there's going to be some strategy games with the undercut. Pretorius looks like he's also still a part of this train, so he's probably made the jump. And yeah, let's see who wins this.
Yeah, absolutely right. And yeah, we'll see if anyone decides to go into the pits early.
And JJ and Tipsy just had a little contact, I don't know. Like they were fighting side by side, and JJ kind of pulled over Tipsy, but Tipsy got away without damage.
Okay, so Tipsy...
Icewind on the back of Bants. Oh, and Icewind wow. Icewind and Bants just made contact twice. Oh, 3 times.
Yep.
He's literally pushing him through the corner here. Bants doesn't look that quick in the snail section, and Icewind a bit impatient.
Yep, and Light Cruiser as well, having a look at Icewind. So Light Cruiser trying to go around the outside of that right-hander. That's brave. Icewind did leave him room, but nothing doing there. No traction on the exit there for Light Cruiser, so he has to wait just a little bit longer. Icewind is going to be very impatient, though, to get past that Ferrari.
Yeah, he's being held up massively. Danny only passed him like 3 laps ago, I think, and he's already 2.5 seconds ahead. So Danny is kind of at a disadvantage trying to hunt for the top guys. I will keep an eye on the lap times to see if he can go the pace of the leaders or not.
Yeah, well, he's dropped off a little bit, but not very much, actually. Danny does seem to have very good pace in that Ferrari. Here is Icewind then with DRS. He's in overtake mode. He's going to get as much straight line speed out of that Alfa Romeo as he possibly can. Not close enough this time, though, to challenge the Ferrari into the hairpin, or as he locks up. Bants has to go wide to avoid him, and that won't have been good for Icewind. There's a tag there on Light Cruiser as well, but Icewind with just a little bit too much of a send there into the hairpin. Bants with some very good driving to not get hit by him.
We've got 2 trains here, and then we've got Danico floating loosely between them. There's a midfield train, Danico, and then the front train.
Oh, that was front wing. That was front wing.
That's his right end plate gone, and he drives into the gravel. I imagine he'll retire.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the end of Icewind's race, unfortunately. He does indeed retire, so just a little bit too much impatience from the Finnish driver there. And not able to get the move done on Bants despite being held up, and that cost him the race, unfortunately. So
and we know that Bants is a tough one to break. He knows his defending strats. You know, it's sometimes very frustrating to be up against him, and Icewind certainly got a taste of that today, even though I don't think Bants did anything in an unfair manner. He just like takes as much space as you give him, and then he tries to work with that, and he's very good at doing that. Even though sometimes he lacks pace, he can, like, that sounded like shade throwing, but
no,
even if he lacks pace on you, then you're still going to have you can't disregard him.
He does race very hard, does Bants. We know that, and yeah, he certainly didn't do anything unfair there, but that we saw at least. But Julian with the fastest lap of the race on the medium tyres. Swenny and Light Cruiser side by side in the hairpin, out of the hairpin now into the last corner, still side by side as Swenny gets pushed off a little bit onto the runoff there. A little bit more contact between them, wheel banging down the straight. There's a Williams there just behind as well, making it 3 wide. Luigi trying to go around the outside of both of them, and Luigi with the ultimate opportunism.
Oh no, he gets squeezed there. Was scissors closing for Luigi, and Rainy and Light Cruiser, who's getting the better traction here, trying to short shift that, get the max traction. Both low on ERS actually. Winnie on the outside, maybe he tries to go for the inside, maybe a lunge by Winnie. He is confident on these brakes, even though he's turned offline, and he still knows his braking points. That was amazing, and a fair dive, I think.
Yeah, just about. It's a bit dicey though with Light Cruiser, and Light Cruiser's in no mood to give this up, I'm sure. I wonder if he has damage, because he has damage. Okay, yeah, so he's not going to be able to hang on to the back of Hueni any longer.
that's the move I would curse about if it was pulled on me. But yeah. I don't know.
It must have been there must have been some damage from one of the contacts at the end of the last lap. Then in that case, because we certainly saw the side-by-side contact. It was on the other side for Light Cruiser, maybe in turn 1 even, maybe with Luigi. I don't know.
Yeah, he still had his. I'm watching the replay right now. He still had his end plate on the end of last lap. So
maybe it was the turn 1 contact then that did it. Copy right on the back of Julian for the lead as well. As we see Light Cruiser pits, so he is going to change his wing and probably put the hard tyres on. It's I mean, there's never a good time to take damage, but this is better than many other times to take damage for Light Cruiser. And yeah, he changes his front wing. So not a complete disaster for him.
I can't spot it. But it doesn't really matter. He's got a new wing now, and he's very far behind now. Of course, what everyone else has to pit. The question is where is he going to come out? Probably behind Luigi sorts. Probably around where NJJ is.
Yep, something like that. You lose about 5 seconds changing your wing, so I would imagine that he'll be around there somewhere. Meanwhile, the 4 leaders, Pretorius has been dropped. Got Pretorius in the Mercedes. Danny is catching Pretorius as well. That gap now just 2.2 seconds between those two. So Danny catching Pretorius. It was 3.3 2 or 3 laps ago. Once again, Copy right on the back of Julian. Speedy right on the back of Copy. Jensen right on the back of Speedy. We're going to keep an eye out for penalties as well, because...
Oh, I'll check warnings on all of them.
Okay. Because yeah, I don't think we've seen any at all pop up on screen. I've not, at least.
Julian 1, Copy and Speedy clean. Jensen 2, Pretorius clean.
So good stuff from everyone in SLR, keeping it on track for the most part. So once again, we see the front 4 going through. I just wonder if Jensen is struggling to live with this pace a little bit. He is 7/10ths behind Speedy, so right on the edge of DRS range at the moment. He's got another couple of tenths to spare, and he absolutely needs to keep in that DRS range.
And I think what Panos Vagianis, he's got Leclerc as a picture, and it sounds Greek, so I assume it's Contender.
That's Contender, yeah. It's Contender.
Yeah, it's Contender. It says the 4-way battle will get spicy after the pit stops, and I was about to say the same. I full on agree with him. Like, it's going to get interesting when there's undercuts and overcuts in play. I mean, I think the undercut will be the way to go, and I assume maybe the start might be the one. I predict maybe Copy will come into the pits, and Julian might stay out. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're Julian, you want to be warding off the undercut. I think that's the issue. Julian does pit.
Okay, I was exactly wrong. Perfect. Jensen gets a time penalty.
Yeah, that's Jensen's. That's the first time penalty of anyone in the top 4. So Jensen obviously struggling to live with the pace at the moment. Julian does indeed, as you mentioned, pit. He's going to put the hard tyres on.
I expected the other 3 to pit. Like, I thought Julian was going to stay out, and then Copy's going to pit, and Speedy and Jensen would do a reactionary pit stop. It didn't happen. I'm apparently not the prophet anymore. I outdid myself for this week predicting Wimpy's crash. That was enough. My powers are down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Thimo with an intimate knowledge of Wimpy, of course, having had a fierce rivalry with him last season in Tier 2.
Yeah, I've touched him at places no one has ever touched him.
Like the Spa pit entry, yeah.
Like, what if we kissed at the Spa pit entry?
So Bants and Hueni battling for P6 and 7.
That was a good one. The pit entry as well.
Oh, Bants outbreaks himself. Hueni going to be all over the back now of the Ferrari in the left-right. so Bants doing his best to get the traction down. When he looks like he's close enough this time, though, for a run into the hairpin. Bants, is he going to go defensive? He's not. And Hwenny, I think, will get that move done pretty straightforwardly as he heads into the hairpin. He takes P6 on track. The top 3 then, top 4 all pit. Top 5 all pit. What about Hwenny and Bants? Are they going to pit as well? Bants does indeed pit, so Hwenny stays out. But what is the pit stop going to be? Speedy's changing his wing. So Speedy had some contact somewhere, and he changes his wing, so it's going to be a longer pit stop for him. He's only just ahead of Danico as they come out of the pits. Meanwhile, Julian leads the race by a couple of seconds after that undercut. So Julian getting good value out of that undercut. He leads by 2.2 from Copy, who is, 2 seconds behind him. Hwenny actually leads the race, of course, because he's yet to pit. As Jensen is caught behind NJJ.
Tips and Pretorius are fighting very hard for the fact that they're not actually racing for position. In the end, Tipsy decides to give in and hand the position over.
Yep. And Speedy with a new front wing, having to... Yeah, Speedy changed his wing, yeah.
When did he lose it?
I don't know. I do not know. And I wonder, because he was able to keep up, so I don't know whether that was the right thing to do for Speedy, but that's what he decided to do, so he's going to have to make up some time now on the hard tyres compared to the leaders.
Yeah, it's tough, and looks like Copy should have pitted then. The hard tires definitely last long enough that there's not going to be any tire cliff or something that is going to be worth sacrificing that much time. I think they should have followed Julian in.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So Julian pitting on the right lap when he pits from what was the lead, and he's going to put hard tyres on as well. Julian does the fastest lap of the race on the hards, and yeah, Copy, it'll be interesting to see whether Copy's able to close that gap. He has one lap of tyre advantage, which, as you mentioned, is not very much at all, so it might just come down to pure pace.
Yeah, it will, I'm pretty sure, and unfortunately the opposite has happened. Well, Speed is going to be interesting against Pretorius. But this kind of stretched the front train out a little. I hope the opposite would happen, but we gotta take what we were given, and Copy was, I guess, I think Copy was quick enough to not be held up by Julian. I think he was maybe a little no, wait, the other way around. I'm talking crap. My thoughts are complex. I think Julian probably held Copy up a little, but just defended it well. So I think there's a chance that Copy will be able to close the gap again, even though he's not right now. That is what I tried to say. Thank you for your patience.
Yep, I think you might well be right. Speedy is in DRS range of Pretorius, and Danny's not in DRS range of Speedy, so that is the situation at the moment. We're seeing the gap is 2.3 as we hear Thimo typing furiously in the background. Obviously, there we go. That's the chat message that we knew was coming because we heard the typing. So the lead is 2.2, and it was 2.2 when they came out of the pits.
I've been busted.
And Speedy on the back now of Pretorius for P5. Jensen is a second and a half behind Copy, but yeah, not in DRS range, which is the crucial thing. NJJ is staying out on the hard tyres for a little while, and Ocean Chief as well, of course, is staying out on those hard tyres. So be interesting to see if Ocean Chief does try to go to the end of the race on those. He's unfortunately going to fall a little further down the order. He's got a bunch of cars behind him on fresh tyres. Speedy being held up by Pretorius here, and he's losing even further touch with the front three here. And if he's not careful, Danny is going to be sniffing at the back of that racing point fairly soon as well.
It's actually quite interesting. I don't know how he got the damage, and if it was bad damage. But maybe actually in the end it would have been worth considering at least not fixing it, because he kept up with them early in the first stint. Maybe he should have not done it and stayed with the top 3, but not fixing damage always feels kind of wrong.
Yeah, so, unless, as Hugo says in chat, he had an incident in the pit lane, which is always possible in China. We've seen that.
I mean, he's a Hamilton fan, maybe try to be like
exactly. We've seen that before. Speedy on the back of NJJ, and he really needs to get this move done as soon as he possibly can. NJJ not going to give it to him though, by the looks of things. Into the long right-hander he goes. He's going to stick his nose up the inside here in turn 1, and he does very comfortably get that move done on NJJ. So Speedy staying with Pretorius in 4th place right now, but they're both 5 seconds behind Jensen, who is in 3rd.
My PC has died again.
Oh no. Rip Thimo's PC. That's bad news. Twice in, what, an hour?
That literally never happened. What the hell is this?
Yeah. We've not had it before in commentary, certainly.
No, we never, actually, like...
So fingers crossed.
This is new and I don't like it.
Bants sends one on Max Spiltz, who's on old tyres, so Bants into the points, up to P10. But yeah, hopefully Thimo is able to make a speedy recovery with his PC, because certainly you won't want to miss this. Speedy right on the back of Pretorius with 13 laps to go. They're on the same tyres, but I would assume that Speedy is a little bit faster. We got NJJ and Danny as well. Pretorius moves to the inside, but decides not to block. Gives him a little bit of a squeeze there as they head into the hairpin. And Danny also getting the move done on NJJ, who's on old tyres. So Speedy up to P4. And Pretorius down to P5. Hwenny passing Ocean Chief as well. Ocean Chief, of course, on those old hard tyres when he has just pitted. NJJ pits from what was 7th place, and he's going to put the medium tyres on. So lap 17, there are 12 to go. As we see Light Cruiser and Luigi battling over P10. We saw them battling in the first half of the race as well. I guess Luigi had to change his front wing as well, because they're both some way off the back of Hwenny, who they were fighting with. Meanwhile, the gaps up front pretty much as they were. Copy not really able to make any real inroads into Julian's lead. And we'll compare lap times when they cross the line as well. Copy with half his battery left, Julian with the same, Jensen with pretty much the same as well. So these three up front running pretty much the same pace. Speedy, I think, will be looking to catch them. Julian crosses the line, 35.2 from Julian, 35.3 from Copy, 35.4 from Jensen. So very, very similar lap times. As Speedy comes across the line as well, he does a 35.4 as well. So everyone up front running pretty much the same pace. Still got Light Cruiser and Luigi battling it out for P10. Wonder if they're catching Bants. They might be. Bants as well, homing in on the back now of Ocean Chief for what will be P8. Welcome back, Mr. Beamer.
I don't like this. I want to have a working PC.
Yeah, it's a little bit concerning.
This is 1.5 years old. I don't know. I just try to clean the fanners, like the cooling fanners.
Yeah, it might be something like that. It was F1 both times, right? It was when you launched F1 last time.
It was F1 both times, yeah. This is... I shouldn't have said that. Now everyone in chat is going to be, what, you don't use water cooling? What the hell? I'm going to tell you I got a pre-built PC, what you're gonna do. Anyway. How's the race going? I'm trying to load in.
Yep, you've not really missed very much. The gaps at the front are pretty much as they were. We got Copy 2.3 behind Julian. We're going to look at lap times as they cross the line. 35.2, 35.1 from Jensen, and I guess a 35.2-ish from Copy. So pretty much the same. Speedy was a little bit slower. He did like a 35.5 or something like that. He's fallen off the back a little bit. And he's got Pretorius all over the back of him in P5 as well. Danny is, I think, falling away just a little bit on those hard tyres. Luigi gets 3 seconds. He's running down in 11th place though, so unlikely to be points today for Luigi, although plenty can happen in 10 laps.
Yeah, they are all super consistent right now. It's it's quite incredible.
Yeah.
But they all are running. I need to see. I think Danny. Yeah, I've got an invite. I have an invite. I can join. Don't need to help. Okay.
You can join or you can't?
I can. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. You have joined by the looks of things.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm loading into the race again. I mean, I went into my into like the program where I get the data after it restarted, and it was at like 87 degrees.
Oh, as Bants hits the back of Ocean Chief, and Light Cruiser says, "Thank you very much. I'm going to make my way through." But Bants won't have enjoyed that. That's not how he will have wanted to pass Ocean Chief. Just bumped him out of the way in the slow left-hander. And Ocean Chief now with Luigi all over the back of him as well.
Oh, it's desynced for me.
Oh, Ocean Chief is.
No, Bants. Wait, did Bants just pull one on Light Cruiser?
Yeah.
They're running side by side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Bants is a ghost car, mirroring exactly what actual Bants is doing, but he's in P18.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's
great. So they're running side by side now.
It's a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know. Light Cruiser has DRS, Bants doesn't, so Light Cruiser is going to get that position at least temporarily.
Yeah, nice one.
And Ocean Chief right on the back of them as well, and Luigi, of course, right on the back of Ocean Chief. So.
Light Cruiser's the ghost car. Oh god.
So these four running absolutely together. Oh, Bants almost losing it on traction there out of the slow left-hander. That will have cost him some time. Into turn 4, the four of them go. With 9 laps to go, and Julian is extending that gap now over Copy, and Jensen is catching Copy as well. Doesn't have DRS this time, but he is in DRS range. So he will be within striking distance for the next 8 laps or so.
Yeah, apart from the fact that Bants is obviously 17 laps down, things have sorted for me, so I can... I'm fully informed now, as well as Luigi takes P10 off of Ocean Chief, which is one of the 7 death sins, so... one of the 8.
Yeah, it's true. Ocean Chief does like his P10.
It's the one that was too unspeakable to be included in the Bible. And now NJJ is alongside Ocean Chief. Ocean Chief tries to leave space, so he goes a little wide, but that makes him take a bit more of a swing, so he'll stay well ahead as Max Spills and Tipsy are fighting. The Toro Rossos are the real gunners again. It's kind of sad to see. I don't know what happened to Costa. And now Max Spills goes into the pit, so he did not win that fight, unfortunately, for him.
Yep, unfortunately not, but certainly the Toro Rossos... well, Costa had that very good lap in qualifying, but yeah, that mean a lot of that was the weather conditions, I think.
Also, 10 laps of consistency look like they might have paid off, as Jensen is within, just about.
I think he will have DRS this time. I think he was
maybe
within a second on the detection. He's got the 3-second penalty as well, of course. So.
Oh right, I forgot that. Okay, yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah, and he actually doesn't have DRS either. So Jensen got a lot of work to do. He's got an empty battery. He's been using his battery trying to catch the Williams of Copy. And Speedy just falling away a little bit.
And the question is, I mean, yeah, will he do something about Copy? And last time we saw that there was a time penalty and he still tried to go for it and went on track. I imagine he'll do something similar to Copy, that he'll at least be able to say, hey guys, I finished ahead on track.
Yep, I think so.
Pull a tipsy Bob.
I think he'll be. I think he'll be doing that.
And JJ and Luigi are fighting as well down the order.
Yep, they are. Coming out of the hairpin. Luigi is staying ahead for the time being. NJJ with better tyres though, so I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold him off. As through does go NJJ around the outside into turn 1. He went deep though. Luigi having a look up the inside, but having to brake pretty sharpish. Decided that wasn't such a good idea after all. Quite sensible of him. Max going onto the soft tyres, so I wonder if he's going to be trying to do the fastest lap of the race. At the moment, Jensen has the fastest lap of the race, so he would get a point for it if it were to hold until the end, but I think some other people might have something to say about that.
Indeed.
Now Jensen right on the back of Copy though.
Yeah.
And Speedy and Pretorius fighting as well. So 3-second lead for Julian. It looks like he might have this race in the bag with 6 laps to go. As we have yellows in sector 2, don't know why. Yep, still don't know why. But into the first couple of corners go Copy and Jensen. And Jensen will know what the score is. He'll know that unless Copy gets himself a penalty, and we've seen Copy plenty of times in the past not get any penalties at all, he's going to have to pull out 3 seconds if he actually wants that second position. And we've got Speedy and Pretorius who are fighting for position in 4th and 5th. We've got NJJ on the back of Bants as well for 9th and 10th. NJJ on the different strategy. He started on the hards. And he's gone to the medium tyres. So coming up to 5 laps to go. I'm hoping Thimo is still there and he's not crashed again.
I am still there.
He's still there. Fantastic. All right.
Worried about him because CS Jensen is going down the inside of Copy, and this. Oh, and he actually bangs into the side pod there. Kind of leaned on him in that corner. They are making contact again. So they're going to run side by side to the final corner. Copy has to take an earlier apex, so Jensen gets the better run, and now they were going to be side by side. The Copy is on the inside. Ken Jensen hanging around the outside in this very long turn 1. He's got his nose ahead, and more than his nose actually. He is full on ahead, but now Copy runs the tighter line. Jensen closes the door though, so he is fine.
Yep, good racing between the two of them. Jensen does get the move done, and now he has to try and pull out a little bit of a gap. He does have more battery than Copy does, and it seems like he has a little bit more pace, having made up that deficit. It's a question of whether he can pull out 3 seconds in between now and the end of the race. It's going to be a tall order. There's only 5 laps to go, including this one. NJJ passing Bants around the outside, maybe. Bants hanging on for the moment, giving just about enough room on the outside there, and Bants keeps the position in turn 1 for at least another lap. As they head into turn 4. So Max crosses the line. I guess Max is trying to do the fastest lap, but he didn't quite get there, unfortunately. Costa does pit. I wonder if he's going to try and do the fastest lap. Yeah, okay. I think so.
Yeah, Toro Rosso's order.
Trying to
take
deny
as
the
many
point from
points
somebody.
Away from rivals as you can.
Yeah, absolutely right. Wonder if Julian's going to have a run at the fastest lap at some point. He crosses the line, does a 35.1. Jensen crosses the line, 35.1. Copy crosses the line. We didn't see what that was, but he got overtaken in that lap, so it won't have been as fast. Copy
yeah, this
conserving.
must be kind of a bummer for Jensen.
Yeah, with a 3-second penalty, certainly.
Yeah. Is it? Oh, NJJ and Bants.
Yep, down the inside into the hairpin. Bants with the cut back, though. Is he going to be able to get the traction on the exit? Probably not.
It's got the superior grip on soft tires.
Oh, no!
NJJ!
As
And he goes off in
NJJ
a
gets
big
sent
way,
into
and
the
that's
wall.
but he actually didn't get damaged there. That was quite incredible. But he gets thrown out of the top 10. And what
Yep, just tagged the back, did Bants. That was quite unfortunate for NJJ. And Bants has been in the wars a little bit this afternoon. Been involved in a couple of incidents. Hanging on in P9 for the time being, at least.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to have any consequences, because, I mean, the likelihood is up because Ocean Chief is within range of a 5-second penalty, so I'm sorry, Bants. This is not your home anymore.
Yeah.
Ocean Chief lives here now. No, I'm just kidding. But, but I think if I wasn't, no one would be upset about it. Ocean Chief deserves this P10. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to go to the end on those hard tyres.
Yeah, good job by him in that case. He did that cheeky pit stop early on, and it looks like he got himself at least ahead in the Battle of Ireland.
Yeah, looks like it. Tipsy is well. Tipsy's going to be catching on those tyres, though the mediums will be reaching the end of their life as well. So it might be close between them by the end of the race. But yeah, Ocean looks like he's got the advantage at the moment.
Gotta say even, I imagine, or Tipsy might catch a little. Copy. I don't know if he's going to do anything about Jensen once again. He is. I mean, like Jensen is a driver full of confidence, and like he always. I don't know. Every time I talk about him that way, he reminds me of that showmanship slider in the F1 career mode. Like I feel like that represents Jensen. So I think if Jensen was in Copy's position right now, then he would totally try and win on track. But Copy, I don't know. I think he's more laid back and calculated.
Yeah.
So I think he will stay behind. And I mean, the run just through this long right-handed Jensen gained like 2 or 3 tenths. So Copy probably doesn't even. Like it's not up for him to decide if he's going to try. He'll just try to hang on.
Well, I think
just take that safe P2.
Copy also has a full battery, as Costa does do the fastest lap of the race, 33.7 on those soft tyres. So nobody from the front 5 look like they're going to get a point for fastest lap. Speedy with 3 seconds. That's a big deal.
Oh, it
because that puts him behind Pretorius now. So Pretorius looks like he's going to inherit that 4th place with 2 laps to go.
What was the tab? 33.7?
33.7, yeah. A full second faster than Julian, yeah.
Julian is 1.5 seconds per lap slow, so I doubt there's... I doubt he can pull that out of the bag! As Copy runs into the back of Jensen. And I mean, Jensen would have had a little... he would have been surprised.
He got damaged there, Copy. I wonder if he's...
Copy.
I wonder if he's going to be able to hang on to Jensen. He's visibly understeering with the missing left front end plate.
Yeah, he is. I imagine he'll be out of DRS here. But I doubt it's going to be enough for Jensen to pull out 2 seconds.
2 seconds in a lap and a half. I don't know. I think it might be close. Copy looks like he's got a lot of damage to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite the hit. He completely miscalculated that.
Yeah, he's not flat through the right-hander. So Copy might be in a little bit of trouble, and Jensen might be getting that P2 after all. That was a bad mistake for Copy to make.
Yeah, and oh my god, it's already 6 tenths. I think Jensen's just been gifted.
I think he might have done. I think he might have been. So Copy, completely his own mistake, unfortunately ran into the back of Jensen in the braking zone.
Yeah. Jensen will get revenge for last season, it looks, because last season Copy barely edged him out. This time Jensen will finish ahead by the looks of it. But, I mean, he might. It's not done yet. But he gained a second alone in that section.
Yeah, the gap is 2 seconds. So I'm struggling to see Copy hanging on to this one. He does have a full battery, so he can do a full push lap in high ERS. But my goodness, Jensen certainly going to have more grip and more turn-in on that Haas than Copy does in the Williams.
And this is like a rally session now, because they are like, because it's like this chase format. Can Copy hang on?
Yeah, certainly
Will he
is.
be quick enough? And I mean, he's held himself very well through that first sector. He barely lost any time, but through these corners, he's just he's screwed. And
I don't
at this
know.
point
It's going to be
it was
close.
a second, and he lost a second from this point to the end of the lap. So if it's an exact replay, then Copy will be out of it. But maybe he's learned. Maybe he can barely hang on. That looked like a decent run, but the right hand is going to cost him time, and because that drags onto the straight, it's going to cost him time. It looks like he's running very wide, full on off the track. It's 2.8 seconds, 2/10 between Copy and Jensen.
Going to be very, very close indeed between the two of them. Jensen's out of battery.
Into the final two turns. It's 3/10 now. Copy has done that well. I think Copy might just about have it. Julian comes across the line to win, and it's 2.6 seconds between Copy and Jensen. Copy absolutely yeets that corner, and he'll take P2 there.
Very close.
Very close, yeah. And Pretorius takes P4 off of Speedy, so Speedy will not be that satisfied with that. And like wet qualifying certainly like changed things up a lot. Because I mean, Jensen in the end I think was quicker than Copy, but the problem was just, I mean, he started in P4. I imagine rain maybe played a factor, just considering how competitive he was in the dry. And then they also got out-strategized by Julian, of course, who, I mean, he did not win only because of strategy, because he was solidly leading before that, but when he pulled the, well, he didn't really pull an undercut, but when he pitted earlier than the others to cover them off, he broke free of them, and that is what made it made it look easy in the end.
Absolutely right. The undercut really helped for Julian. It made a big difference. But yeah, as you mentioned, Pretorius 4th, Speedy 5th. Danny with a very good drive in 6th, had a quiet race, but a very effective one. Hueni with a very creditable 7th place in the Mercedes. And then light cruiser, Bants and NJJ running out the points. Bants is 9th place, I would think, is probably provisional, because I think there might be some action after the race. We don't know, of course, so we'll have to wait and see. But certainly he was involved in a couple of incidents today, as Costa is going to go full speed through the pit lane. That's some sort of desync, I'm not exactly sure. And there's a migrating host, so we might have to leave it there and not have the finishing screen, because it's going to be another minute or so. But they are your results in any case. Julian from Copy from Jensen is the top 3.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of time, so I'd like to make the driver of the day quick.
Yeah, who do you reckon?
The only problem with that being that I don't know, so you go first. Maybe I'm inspired by that.
I don't know either. I think, I mean, we've given it to, we've not given one to Julian yet, have we? Because he's been in the wars a little bit in the couple of races that he's had so far in SLR. So I think for a commanding drive, for a good, for a good strategic call today, I think it might be Julian for me.
I'm looking down the order, like position changes.
I think there's some honourable mentions. One is certainly Hueni, who ended up having a very good result after a couple of incidents in the race, but generally showing very, very good pace, having a good qualifying session, good pace in the race as well. And yeah, Pretorius P4 with that qualifying as well is another honourable mention.
Yeah, Pretorius had a good one as well. It's hard, but I think in this race, actually in all of the, like in the 2 past races, we've also given it to the winner. But again, this has been like a race where no one has really stood out as the star performer. I think if you look at the position change, the biggest game was by NJJ, and he came P10 in the end, and then Lycus and Hueni. But So I think in a race without anyone making up crazy amounts of positions or being an absolute surprise, I think it's fair to go to Julian with it, because what else could he have done really to get it?
Absolutely
he
right.
he didn't put a single foot wrong. He knew exactly what was going on the strategy, picked the perfect lap to pit, and caught the others off guard there. And that is ultimately what got him out of any trouble and made it impossible for the others to keep contesting that win. And he takes a good win. I think it's fair to give it to him. Well done.
Yep, absolutely. I think it is. Let's bring him into the commentator's booth then. I know you have to go, Timo. But
good BA.
goodbye, Timo. Yep, absolutely, always is. So thanks for doing that. And we have Julian in
folks.
we have Julian in the commentary booth as well for this one because it was. I guess this is the race you've been threatening for a little while, Julian, because you've had a couple of incidents in the first couple of races where you weren't quite able to dominate the races as maybe you would have liked, but this time you did dominate.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right, by the way?
You are quiet. Let me turn you up. Give me a sec. Yeah, try now. I'm going to turn myself down a little bit as well.
Is this better?
Yep, that's much better. All right.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah. Bahrain didn't go to plan, but that was the only race I really had an incident in. But
Yeah.
today was really good actually. I didn't expect to be this much in front, but on the first stint it was pretty close. But then after I pitted the lap earlier than the others, I came out like 2.5 seconds ahead of Copy and just drove to the end. I was kind of surprised that Copy didn't catch up to me that much, but yeah, I guess I'll take it. My pace was good, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, were you
It's a
thinking
win.
that you should pit a little bit early to stave off the undercut? Was that the intention there?
I expected everyone to follow me, but then I just saw it as an undercut, so I began to push really a
Mhm.
lot on the outlap, and yeah, by that way I just made it an undercut, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I just thought everyone would pit on the same lap as I did, so didn't expect them to stay out.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a little bit because yeah, Timo was trying to figure out who would pit, and he figured that the people behind would pit early to try and undercut you, but yeah,
Yeah,
you obviously don't want to be late into the pits in that situation because yeah, then you have to battle with people. Whereas if you can get a gap of 2 seconds and then stretch your legs, which you did, that's obviously much better. So yeah, I mean.
it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, in terms of, I'm pretty sure you're leading the championship now. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I'm reasonably confident you are.
Would be
So,
cool because I'm a reserve as well, so.
okay, yeah, oh, yeah. I guess it might not be, like official then because I'm not exactly sure how reserves are counted. It sort of differs between leagues, but yeah, in terms of like the number of points, certainly you're, if not at the top, then very near the top.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you thinking into is Baku a good track for you? Are you looking forward to that?
I've done Baku today in another league, and it's quite safe to say that race didn't really go well.
Oh dear.
So
Okay.
I have to practice quite a bit to not completely die around there next week, but I'll try my best.
Well, yep. Well, I'm sure you will, and yeah, it's been really good to have you in SLR in these races because yeah, you've been very very competitive and extremely fast.
Yeah,
So yeah, good luck. Congratulations on the win today. Good luck for Baku. I'm going to move you back into, and thanks for joining us for interview.
yeah,
Gonna,
no problem. Always. Thanks
Cool.
for the stream.
I'm going to move you back now, and we're going to bring in Mr. Jensen, who was very confident leading into the race. And I don't know, was it? I mean, you obviously had the pace in the dry, Jensen.
Yeah.
But I mean, was it the qualifying throw you off a little bit? Was that the what
Yeah,
happened there?
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I just couldn't get a good lap in qualifying. I think I overpushed a few corners. Yeah, and then you don't have the right amount of traction out of a corner, and you lose so much time. So I was
Hmm.
waiting in quali, so to at least get over the line as one of the last because the track was drying up to save it a little bit. And yeah, fortunately, fourth place in qualifying, so I could at least drive away with the top runners. And yeah, the pace at the front was murdering. If you make one little mistake, you were out of DRS, and we all knew that. So no one really made a mistake in the opening stint. Yeah, and I guess Copy, Speedy, and I thought we could overcut because we had a safety car and we started on fresh mediums. But clearly, Julian's strategy to pit a lap earlier to the hard tire was the deciding factor to break DRS. And he was also quick. I found a lot of speed on the hard tires. I closed the gap to Copy. First chance I got, I could overtake him. But yeah, I was a little bit wild at the beginning, so I already picked up a 3-second penalty. Yeah, and then second to last lap, or
Yeah. I was going to
he
ask whether
outbroke
you
me,
realized what happened there,
yeah,
because he got damage.
I felt quite a nudge. So I looked backward immediately, and I saw his wing end plate missing. So yeah, I think you could see it on stream as well. I was
Yeah.
immediately putting full ERS, and I thought if I can get him over 3 seconds, it's a bonus P2. But yeah, the time penalty I picked up costed me in the end. But yeah, third place, I'm happy with it. Speedy was much more unfortunate. Right in front of me with the pit entry, he lost his
Oh,
front
that
wing.
is what happened. He lost his front wing on the pit entry. Because yeah,
Yeah,
we were confused because we didn't see it.
yeah, we went in, all three of us, and I broke at the max. So I even ghosted a little bit through Speedy. But yeah, Copy broke really early, and Speedy had to change his front wing. So
Oh, right, I see.
it could go either way, but I think I should be happy with P3. It's not a bad result. It was a fun and good race.
Yep, absolutely. It's yeah. I mean, any race like that, you end up on the podium. I mean, the pace up front, as you mentioned, was so intense.
Yeah.
And you were all you were all in that train at the beginning, and it was just make sure you don't make a mistake. And yeah, you lasted it out despite the 3-second penalty. You lasted it out and got a podium. So
Yeah, and I got quite a lot of fuel in my second stint as well. So somehow I managed to save ERS and keep the gap to Copy at 1.4 seconds. And at one point I was at 50 or 60% ERS, and then I just went overtake mode on the back straight, trying to get into the DRS. And when I finally got it, he wasn't going to get rid of me.
yeah, no, absolutely. Once you're there, especially on a track like China, I mean, you gain, I guess you gain like 3 or 4 tenths with
Yeah.
DRS down the straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a big difference. You can charge your battery as well if you want to, and it's just a good place to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations on third place. How are you feeling about Baku?
I'm not going to be there.
Oh, you're not going to be there, of course. Yeah.
I'm feeling
a
pretty
shame.
good about it. It's not my favorite track either. So.
When are you back?
I hope Spain.
Okay.
The next one. It's also one of my strongest circuits.
Okay.
And I know
that's good.
it's a strong circuit of WoW as well. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, we
hopefully,
missed WoW today.
will
Well,
be there.
hopefully we'll see a battle between you two because yeah, it's been some good battles between you two in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
So see
Yep.
you in Spain probably.
yep. See you then. Congratulations on the third place. I'm going to move you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Back into the gentleman's lounge, and who else do we have? We have the fourth place finisher, Pretorius. Who I wonder if you were a little bit surprised, Pretorius, that you ended up in P4 because Speedy got that penalty right at the end that gave it to you. What was did you know that he had that penalty?
Yeah, I had the great crew chief Wimpy. He was doing a great job helping me, and the moment he got the penalty, he let me know.
Okay.
So yeah, I was surprised I could even keep up with Speedy, but very happy to finish P4.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think he overtook you earlier in that stint, but I guess you used the DRS to good advantage, and sort of played it smart because Speedy's a fast boy, but you were able to keep up. So yeah, I mean, in terms of I mean fourth place, is that better than you were expecting at the start of the race?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think I was expecting any particularly good result, but yeah, I think Speedy got some damage in the pit lane as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was.
Which put him behind me. That also helped me get that P4. I don't think I would have gotten it back without it.
Yeah, he hit the back of Copy. Yeah, he hit the back of Copy on pit entry, which was unfortunate.
But Danny was really fast. He was catching me before I think on the first stint he was catching me a lot. But thanks to the DRS and Speedy, I could get away from him.
Yeah, no, that's really. I mean, it's nice when you can take advantage of that and get just a little bit of extra speed. So yeah, I mean, you took full advantage. I mean, the wet qualifying. I mean, we saw you put some very good laps in early on in the wet qualifying. Did that suit you? Do you think?
I guess so. I mean, I was surprised to be that far ahead in the wet, and only I think Copy had a really fast time. It was like almost a second faster, I think, in at the end of qualifying, if I remember correctly. And but I was surprised to be within I think it was half a tenth of Julian.
Yeah. No, he was. Yeah, he didn't. For most of the qualifying session, he didn't have like his best qualifying session. But then, then at the end he put the lap in. So. But yeah, I mean, it was just a really good performance all round. You must be really pleased.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
So Baku next. How are you feeling about that?
Oh yeah, it's one of my better tracks, definitely. China was one of my worst tracks, so that's why I'm so surprised by my result. So Baku, I'm hoping for a similar result, because it's one that I usually am pretty good at.
Yep. Well, fingers
So
crossed,
hopefully
and
I can
yeah, we'll look forward to it. And yeah, congratulations on the result. I'm going to move you back into Gentleman's Lounge, but yeah, thanks for the interview.
Alright. Yeah, thanks.
We're going to speak to Mr. Bants. We're going to speak to Mr.
Hi.
Bants. Hello, Mr. Bants. How are you doing?
I'm alright. I didn't mean to get interviewed. I was just talking to the boys.
Ah,
But how
well,
you
you
doing?
know, you put yourself
up?
in the Gentleman's Lounge. You're definitely under threat of getting yoinked, and yeah, you got yoinked. So how was that
Very
race for you? You got some points. That was how much practice did you do, and were you expecting to get points?
I mean, I don't want to pull an Icewind. I'm not going to. I mean, no, I have not driven this track in a while. Really long time. But did we have it in an EGL tournament on this game?
Have we done an EGL tournament?
Like with this track on 2019?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I'm not sure though.
In which case, then my last race on China was in the season, or start of the season, which was like 4 months ago. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever. Anyway, I did get my glory 12 minutes in, but I spent most of the race getting involved in accidents apparently.
Yeah, what happened? I mean, we saw a couple of them. There was the NJJ one, and there was the.
Well, I don't understand how that happened, because I mean the thing with that is also being on realistic damage or whatever it is.
Yeah, full damage.
I got absolutely no damage and I didn't feel anything, so I suppose it was a netcode rub, because I should have gotten damage if I had hit him.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think you. Yeah, I mean, it looked like on stream that you just tagged the back of him and sent him to the right, as it were. You sort of pit maneuvered him into the wall.
Yeah, but that would have broken my wing though, or at least like something.
Yeah.
Mine was completely green. I didn't even have lime green on it.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I don't know what that's about. I know Icewind died right behind me. I don't know.
Yeah, he hit
what
the
he
back
was
of
up
you.
to.
He hit the back of you in turn one. We saw that on stream, and he lost his front wing, and he decided to
So
call
that
it
was
quits.
my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. No.
Okay.
No, he just hit the back of you in turn one.
Okay, I was a bit confused.
But yeah, that was the end of his race, because he knew he would have to change his wing. But yeah, I mean, at least provisionally you've got yourself a couple of points. So I mean, you're having a good battle with Danny
Provisionally,
there.
can I get my points deducted?
Well, I mean, you might, you get involved in incidents, you're liable to get time penalties, and that could
There are
happen.
time penalties in this league. I forgot that.
There are time penalties. Yeah, there are. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Very unlucky.
But yeah, it could be unlucky, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah,
Definitely not my fault, just unlucky.
you were battling with Danny there at the start as well. He's a fast boy, and you seem to have like at least
wasn't.
pace to like to be in his sort of ballpark.
No, not
no?
at all.
No, okay,
Not
maybe
at all.
not.
No, way slower.
Okay.
I appreciate the positivity though,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna sit here like a Mr. Brownwood and be like, why am I so much slower than them, and then not play the game. You know, I don't play the game. I finished 10th. That's how it goes, or 9th, or whatever it was.
No, that's fair enough. It's. I mean, that's basically how I'm going to be tomorrow. So it's.
Oh,
I
don't
can't
Icewind me,
I can't really say much.
Please. Icewind, by the way, said he was a second and a half off everyone.
Yeah, I mean, he
Completely.
certainly wasn't. I mean, he didn't have the best race today, but yeah, he certainly wasn't.
He's like the total wolf of league racing. Amazing.
So
Anyway.
this was this your first SLR? No, it was your. I don't remember how many.
No, I did Bahrain as
You
well.
did Bahrain as well. Are you expecting to do many more? Do you know what your schedule is going to be like?
I just started, so I'm not gonna start pushing around with schedules, but I will soon. I should make hopefully like 3 out of 4 races per month.
Okay, well that's good. That's yeah,
not
that's
all,
a
yeah.
solid 3/4 of the SLR calendar. So
Yeah, but that's also why I don't practice that much because it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really.
Yeah, you're not in a championship fight or anything like that.
Well, not
so,
championship. Like I'm not in a top 10 fight or anything either.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's I mean it's the way it goes. You know, you get fast boys in the league, and suddenly it's hard to get points. But I mean
Sure.
I don't know about you. I mean I'd rather it this way than than sort of 20-second gaps every race at the front, and whichever of
Yeah.
the two quickest drivers doesn't crash. I'd rather there be battles like this. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good time.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to move you back into the gentleman's lounge. So thank you for the interview, even though you didn't want to be
Au revoir.
interviewed.
Au revoir.
All right, au revoir. One final interview, then we're going to bring in Luigi from that race. And Luigi, after I guess that was your debut, right? And you ended up P11. So how was that? I mean, you finished and you got you almost got some points. And you might still get some points because there might be some penalties above you. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about that race?
Not good.
Oh dear.
Yeah, well, I'm used to winning,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, many things went wrong. First of all, I've got a new wheel, so it's taking time to get used to. I'm a bit slower than before, not in time trial, but in race pace I am. I don't push as much. Definitely don't push as much. I'm more careful. And then, well, obviously I couldn't fight from the moment I got front wing damage,
Yeah. I think we saw that. That was the 3 wide into turn 1, right? That was when you got that.
Yeah, no, before that.
Oh, it was
It
before
a
then.
big-
Okay.
Yeah, just after the safety car.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I hadn't
'Cause,
realized.
I expected them to break early, but not that early.
Okay. That makes
So,
sense.
Yeah, I kind of went into someone there. Thankfully, didn't really suffer from it. That got me front wing damage, and then it was pretty much over from there. Like I lose 5/10 in the S's in the fast left and right. So I always get out of DRS zone, even if I catch into turn 1, which I'm really fast. I always get it right and catch a lot, but then it's just I can't keep I can't stay with the guys ahead with front wing damage, and so I don't have DRS, and
Yeah.
I end up pushing, and there you go, nothing. P11, that's really bad, but I'll put more effort. Obviously, I'll push more next race, that's for sure. If I don't have front wing damage somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's the beginning of your SLR Tier 1 career, so
Yeah,
lots
plus
more races
racing
to
with
do.
these guys, racing with these guys, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah, that's absolutely
These guys
true. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely live and breathe F1. I don't. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're just discussing with Bants, who I've we've had battles for me and Bants have had battles for wins into SRL, and it's been it's been us at the front generally, but now we've got fast boys in the league. We've got a lot of people who are who are very, very consistent, very, very fast, and we're not really fighting for wins anymore, which is the way it goes. But I'd rather it this way than than beating drivers who maybe aren't quite as maybe aren't quite at that level.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, congratulations on the finish at least. I mean, you might end up getting points, but even if not, like it's the beginning of a new thing for you. So I'm sure there'll be plenty more. There'll be plenty of glory to come.
For sure. Already in a week, I'll catch a lot more race pace, and I'll be up there. I mean, not up there, but like fighting with Light Cruiser and Huemi, I guess.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
guys are pretty much my level. Light Cruiser was pretty much as fast as me in Formula 2, so
Yeah. Okay.
we were always fighting. So yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Certainly look forward to that. Then thanks for joining us. Thanks for the interview, and yeah, well, good luck for next week.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So that's going to do it for the broadcast. We had Hueni as well, who mentioned in stream chat that he had pretty good pace to finish 7th, but didn't have DRS, so he just drove it home. So yeah, it's quite often the case that if you lose DRS, you're in a little bit of trouble. So that was Hueni's race, and we've heard from a bunch of other people as well. And that is going to do it for the Tier 1 China broadcast. Join us, of course, for 2SRL tomorrow for the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 races from that league on Sunday afternoon. The Tier 2 race will be at, I think it's either 5 or 5:30 UK, 6 or 6:30 Central European. And then the Tier 1 race will be at 7 UK, 8 Central European. So join us for that. And thank you for watching today. We'll see you next time.